In our first story, we start on education. And for almost 60 years, pupils who passed out of primary school in the Greater Accra region town of New Ningo walked many miles to attend junior high school in nearby communities. The situation meant some of them missed classes. Well, the situation is now history following the intervention of the chief executive of the multimedia group, Kwesi Chum, and his siblings. The family has built a new junior high school block for the community, set to be commissioned this weekend. John News' Kwete Nate explores how the intervention is offering hope to the last batch of Class 6 pupils who could be passing out this year.
At about 11 a.m. and pupils of New Ningo DA Primary 6 class are busy writing their second term exams. Beads of sweat have already formed on the foreheads of many of the pupils barely 15 minutes into the test. These pupils should have been preparing to walk many miles to junior high school daily. It's been a ritual for the past 60 years.
I have to pay my royal fare from here to Pampram. So when we got the new generation here, so that it makes me happy because we will not spend our money too much for going Pampram in and out.
When I started school, I want to complete it at where I started, not to go and look for other schools and go there again.
Since its establishment, the New Ningo DA Primary has been without a JHS block. Nate David Ado is the Class 6 teacher. He's sad the school does not benefit from the hard work they put in nurturing these children due to the absence of a junior high school.
Okay, I think we not having JHS block is a very challenge and problem to us, because when we came here that we are going to teach in JHS, but when we came here we don't have any JHS, so we decided to be in the primary school. We did our best to give out these children. After the children leave out the school, every school that they go, students from these schools rather become the champions in those schools. As I'm talking to you now, I want to go to Old Ningo, the Presby. One of our students that left here is a main pillar of the school. If you go to Pampam, Abia, there are also students there who are performing marvelously. So I think we not having JHS is a challenge and a big blow to us, because parents and the community is not seeing our outputs, and every day they think they're going to do anything. But when we meet among in the circuits, we the teachers see that these are the children that we have brought, but the parents in the community are not seeing our output because we don't have no JHS.
I have come to meet Dinate Afio. Her child completed the New Ningo DA Primary 3 years ago. She tells me she spends 6 cedis every day for her child's transportation to and from school and feeding. That's a lot of money for many people in this community of mainly low-income earners.
When he completed from here, there was no GHS, so I transferred him to a different school. I have to pay his transportation before he goes to school. His transportation and feeding fee is 6 cedis. On days that I don't have money, he rises early in the morning and walks miles to school.
Sometimes ko beska no ke mahalo mini epio.
It will be a different story for this year's batch. The school now has a fully furnished JHS block following a special intervention by multimedia CEO Kwesi Chum and his siblings who funded the project. Assistant headmistress of the school, Charity Teria, says the block would enable the school to impact the community.
I feel very happy with all my colleague teachers. We are very happy because now our school is complete, unlike the first. So now we produce the result on our own, because when we send them to the other schools, because they don't complete with us, when they go they perform, some don't perform, then sometimes they blame the primary schools. But now we have the result of our own. We produce them from KG through to the BEC room, and they come back and we know, yes, we are doing it. We are doing it.
For Joy News, Kwete Nate, New Ningo.
The Ministry for Food and Agriculture says it has rolled out a GPS and biometric data collection system to register all farmers who will benefit from the fertilizer subsidy program. The biometric system will also ensure farmers do not over-declare their farm acreages and also address the issue of smuggling by middlemen and extension officers to neighboring Burkina Faso and the Ivory Coast. At the announcement of this year's subsidized prices in Accra, the Agriculture Minister, Dr. Efriye Osayakutu, said the menace will be checked by the participation of the company shortlisted to supply the fertilizers to farmers across Ghana.
Participants in the program would have their fingerprints taken for their biometrics. We are going to visit their farms physically with a GPS to measure the shape and size of their farms in terms of the land area. We are going to link the biometric fingerprints with the coordinates that will come out of this exercise on their farms, so that each farmer and the farm will have a unique identity. And this will be on a database. So the previous years, in the past, farmers would over-declare the acreages in order to get more fertilizer. That is over, because once you are applying the GPS, it means that we will know accurately the number of acres that each farmer is operating under the program, and that will determine the number of bags of fertilizers to be supplied to him. So we are supplying the seeds, the improved seeds, and we are supplying the fertilizers. And since we know accurately for the first time the area that each farmer is cultivating, they will get the exact amount of fertilizer required for their operations. So there will be no surpluses because of over-declaration of acreages for anybody to be trading on the secondary market, whether legally or illegally, on this issue. It's going to eliminate, as we saw in Nigeria, instantly the smuggling of fertilizer across the borders. We are going to audit the stocks as of now, both their warehouses at the port and in their distribution network upcountry, and even going to the extent that the distributors themselves, they are retail outlets. They've submitted these, and we are going to do sample checks at these. And then at the end of the season, we also go in there and do the closing stocks, both at the port, at the distribution points upcountry, and sample checks of their retail outlets. So this time round, there will be no room for any hanky-panky. I mean, we are going to check right from the beginning to the end, and at the end of the day, cross-check with the electronic capture from customs.
And meanwhile, the ministry has already announced new subsidized prices for fertilizers to boost this year's fertilizer subsidy program. The prices, which have so far been slashed by 50% and 30% in some cases, are aimed at ensuring more farmers produce more crops and subsequently create jobs for persons along the chain. Under this program, MPK, which used to be some 85 Ghana cedis, will now go for about 57 cedis, 50 pesos, while urea will also go for some 47 cedis, 40 pesos from the prevailing price of 80 cedis. Well, let's move on to some utility activities. And the Public Utility Workers Union says it is waiting on President Akufo-Addo to invite them for discussions about Ghana's Millennium Challenge Compact, which will see private sector participation in the Electricity Company of Ghana. The union, which represents workers of the state electricity distributor, has since been consistent in its opposition to the introduction of private sector participation in the sector. Addressing a news conference Thursday at the Trade Union Congress office here in Accra, General Secretary of the union, Michael Nyantichi, said they were hoping to have their concerns factored into the compact. Hannah Odame has more in this report.
Workers of the Electricity Company of Ghana, through the Public Utility Workers Union, have always made it clear they are opposed to the Power Compact because they fear the entity which takes over will lay off the workers. At a news conference on Thursday, however, the POO General Secretary says their concerns go beyond job losses.
Granted, the government wants to go ahead and even give ECG to a private investor. Are you sure any investor can come and bring about 2,000-3,000 people from somewhere to come and operate ECG? That is technically not feasible. So at the end of the period, it's not just the question about staff losing their jobs, but we have consistently raised very key issues, the impact on local content with respect to Ghanaian businesses that may suffer. We need to transform ECG. There's no question about that. ECG needs to operate efficiently. Why would you want to adopt an option that at the end of the day, if you achieve this goal, the profits that will come out from the business will be repatriated from the country?
He stressed that President Akufo-Addo, prior to his election, had assured he will engage them in discussions on a possible review of the compact, and so their concern 3 months after assuming office is that the engagement is yet to take place.
POO is therefore calling on government as a matter of urgency to expedite the proposed dialogue with key stakeholders as promised by the President, with a view to soliciting ideas that will sufficiently arm it to take a positive decision that will inure to the benefit of our dear country. The long delay on the part of government concerning this consultation process creates the impression that the President is dragging his feet on the issue.
It emerged at the news conference that one of the unspoken reasons why some of the ECG workers may be opposed to private sector participation in the company could be because they will be unable to perpetuate some inappropriate acts that they currently engage in, such as owning and operating the private electricity vending stations. Mr. Nantechi, however, says the union does not condone such conduct.
Yes, I think we all know about the issues of conflict of interest. I believe if such things are there, the management should be able to address these challenges. And I don't think that if these are the issues, we as a national union, that will be our concern for some individuals' personal business or private interest that we will be waging this campaign. I don't think that is the issue at all.
Mr. Nyantechi added, President Akufo-Addo's one district, one factory, and other entrepreneurial promises which were made prior to his election may not be fulfilled if the privatization goes on without their input.
The concessionaire will not have any commitment to the social dimension of ECG's operation, which will adversely affect rural electrification and undermine this present government's one district, one factory agenda.
For Joy News, my name is Hannah Odami.
Another stories. The trial of the 26-year-old branch manager of the Mawako restaurant here in Accra, where the face of a female employee was allegedly shoved into blended pepper, took an interesting twist on Thursday when the defense proposed an out-of-court settlement of the matter. Lawyers for the accused, Chihad Cheban, said the case in the media reportage was taking a toll on the restaurant's operations. Joy News' Joseph Akable was in court and has the rest of the story.
The courtroom was packed while others stood outside anxiously waiting for proceedings to commence, with Victoria Ganza presiding over the matter. Proceedings commenced with a heated debate between lawyer for Jihad Chaban, Julio de Medeiros, and Francis Xavier Soso on whether the latter, who was holding criminal brief for the caterer, could announce himself in court. This was allowed by the court, with Victoria Ganza insisting it was not alien to our laws.
Julio de Medeiros then told the court that Section 70 of the Courts Act allowed the court to encourage reconciliation among parties once it's not felony. This was opposed by prosecution led by Chief Inspector Hansen Amma, who said one of the charges put against the accused was causing harm, which amounted to a second-degree felony. Julio de Medeiros tells Joy News this is not an admission of guilt.
Act really encourages and promotes the judge in a matter which is not a felony to facilitate and promote out-of-court settlement. If the parties think that they can settle the matter, why not? We are not opposed to it. This matter is hurting everybody. It has become a media circus. You come to court and everybody, the whole place is full. We want this matter settled. This is hurting our clients as well. So if we can settle the matter, why not? We will. It is not in any case an admission of guilt. I want to put that on record. It is not in any case an admission of guilt. But we think that if we can settle, the girl is a hardworking girl. We would want to have her back in our fold.
Lawyer Francis Xavier Sos, who represents the caterer, told the press the request is off the table.
Absolutely. We are opposed. Of course, one is a legal reason. The legal reason is that causing harm is a second-degree felony. And among the offenses that can be summarily settled under Section 73 of the Court Act, causing harm is not one of those because it is not a misdemeanor. That's the first one. And then the second reason is that it is important for us to make the case that it is not everything that is about money. It is not just about money, but it is about letting the world know that there are certain offensive conducts that can, not be pardoned. We don't know the number of other people who are being abused, either privately, in offices, in factories, and so on and so forth. And the only way we can sanitize our society and let people know that when you conduct yourself in such a manner, you could be punished by the law, is to allow the criminal procedure to come to its conclusive end.
The court will rule on the request on Monday, April 10.
And before we go, National Security Minister Albert Kandapah has told Parliament government doesn't have the intention to disband political party-affiliated vigilante groups because such groups indeed are not known to exist as far as the law is concerned. There's been widespread condemnation of the activities of these vigilante groups in recent times, especially following the attack on the Ashanti Region Security Coordinator by so-called Delta Force. And the minister appeared before the House to respond to a question by a Asawasi Member of Parliament, Muntaka Mubarak, on what is being done to disband them. Kandapah told the MPs, as far as government was concerned, such groups are criminal gangs who must be dealt with as such.
There is no legally registered vigilante group. So I don't know of any person who belongs to any such group. But of course, it is not possible that the national security agencies will absorb into the agencies anybody who has a criminal background. Security checks are undertaken, criminal checks are undertaken to make sure that everybody who is employed into the national security system has passed the necessary security and criminal checks. And again, I want to emphasize, we must try not to politicize the security agencies, and we commit ourselves to doing just that. Mr. Speaker, once an incident has been investigated by the police and the law enforcement agencies, and they have determined or established that crime has been committed, the necessary sanctions are applied. In this case, after the investigations, if it is established by the police that some criminal actions did take place, those who were responsible for those actions will certainly be sanctioned in accordance with the laws of the country, and they will not be spared only because they belong to a particular political party.
And that's it for the news.